What's up, pod pals? It's your buddy Adam, and you are listening to Podcasting Business School. It's a show where I teach podcasters simple strategies about how to make more money with your online business. I'm excited to chat here today. We're talking about how I'm using the Threads app for podcast growth. This is a platform that for the last 5, 6 months, let's call it 6 months, I've been going hard with. Like, I have really moved this to the forefront of my social media strategy. This is the number one platform for me for podcast growth, for podcast listener uh, acquiring and promotion and getting clients. And I am thrilled with this platform to the point where I want to do a full episode on this. And spoiler alert, I created a new program, a new protocol, Threads Strategies for Podcasters. I will be telling you all about that here towards the end of the episode. We're kicking that off, and I've got a sweet deal for you. So stay all the way to the end. But I got to do my job first and really teach you why you should even consider Threads, because I don't want you to buy my new course and just like get all hyped up about it and then not use it because it's not the right platform. So is this the right platform for you? Why you should consider doing it? The do's, the don'ts. And we're going to kind of use this episode as a filter uh, because I don't want to sell you something that you don't need. That's that's one of my goals as your main pod pal, is to not add another thing to your plate. So let's dive in a little bit here and talk about first, what is Threads? So Threads is an app that would be considered a Twitter. I'm just going to say Twitter instead of X because you guys know what I'm talking about. It'd be like a Twitter competitor. All right. It is owned by Meta, the same company that owns Instagram and owns Facebook. All right. And so it is a primarily text-based app. It is growing like crazy. Millions and hundreds of millions of people on the app now using it every single day. You can post text, you can post video, you can post images. I've got some thoughts and strategy about what exactly to post and what not to post coming here in a second. But it is a social media platform. All right. It'll be very familiar to you if you've used Twitter before, but it's different though. It's a little bit different. And I want to talk next a little bit about why I think you should consider trying Threads, like giving it an honest chance. I know when it first came out, a lot of people jumped in there. I got hyped up about it. And then I kind of got unhyped up about it. I was like, I don't know. I don't understand it. But then I revisited it at the end of 2024, and I just started seeing followers grow and grow and grow. And I was like, wow, I'm really getting a lot of listeners over here. And wow, I just had somebody hire me for consulting and paid me thousands of dollars, and they found me from Threads. I kept on having more and more and more people go, I found you because of your content on Threads. And I rarely have that happen with Instagram. I don't have that ever happen with LinkedIn or YouTube or TikTok or anywhere else. So as I was kind of falling out of love with Instagram, Threads came along, and, it became my number one platform. So why should you consider trying out Threads? I've got 4 reasons here. First thing is the ease of content creation. All right, it is so easy to create content. I'll get into a list of do's and don'ts. One of my don'ts is don't use video, don't use images. You can post them, but those posts do not do well on Threads. So what does that tell us? What does that tell us? Text-based posts do really, really well. That's what people are on this platform to do, is consume text-based content, text-based knowledge. So what you won't be able to do is take your TikTok video or your IG reel and just repurpose it and share it to Threads. It's not going to do well. I see podcasters doing this all the time, and no comments, no likes, no views. It's just you repurposing. Congrats. You put it in another place and nobody saw it. So it's easy to create content from the standpoint of, once I accepted, okay, my Instagram content won't work on Threads. I can't repurpose it. I saw people just dropping tips. I'm like, I love to write. I write my newsletter every single Thursday. And I just started repurposing, honestly, a lot of my newsletter content, little quotes, little tips, little strategies out of that, just text-based format. dropped some knowledge, and people responded really well. And I was like, wow, I can post 3 to 8 times a day on Threads, and it takes me the same amount of time or less than creating one Instagram reel or one TikTok video. Legitimately. Like, I'm not going to lie to you guys about this. Like, I post 3 to 8 times a day, every single day on Threads, and it takes me minutes. It's so easy. And some of my best performing posts, I'm literally sitting in the uh, school pickup line, picking up my daughter, picking up my son from school. I'm like, oh, let's just mess around on Threads. Let's post some knowledge. Let's drop a tip here or there. And the posts go crazy. And I get hundreds of followers and hundreds of likes and comments and all this stuff. Now, some of my stuff, it's crickets, but it's so much easier. Like almost all my Instagram posts get crickets anyway. So I'm like, well, okay, that took me 5 seconds to write that thing while I was in the pickup line for my daughter's school. And that got crickets versus it took me an hour to create the Instagram reel and that got crickets still. I'll trade out the 5 minute thing for the hour thing every day of the week. But some of these are really taking off. So it's really, really easy to create content. We'll get into some content creation tips here in a second. Right now, it's easy to grow. And I say right now, because right now, the algorithm is very user friendly. It's kind of like olden day social media where people are seeing your post. People do not have to follow you to see your posts. A lot of the posts are what people are seeing in their home feed is based off of keywords. And the type of content that you're posting, if you post a lot, like I post a lot about podcasting tips, online business tips, and people that are consuming that type of content, the algorithm puts my content in front of them. I do not have to buy ads. It's not a pay to play thing yet. All right. It's still a young platform. And that kind of parlays into the next reason why I think it's such a good platform. It's so user friendly right now is because Meta, aka Mark Zuckerberg, wants to crush that Twitter/X platform. If you haven't heard, Mark Zuckerberg and Elon Musk do not like each other. They've legitimately like scheduled fights against each other. They always cancel, but like they don't like each other. Meta wants to win. And Meta is a very expensive and powerful platform. Very, you may have heard of them. So they are really setting this up to be kind of the anti-Twitter. So if you've been on Twitter and you're like, oh, it's a lot of just bro, evil nonsense stuff. Threads is kind of the opposite. It's very positive. It's very easy to find content that you want to consume. It's very easy to pick up followers. They're sprinkling in some paid ad stuff, but it's real gentle. And it's not even a big deal. It's easy to create the content. And it's just like, I'm placing my bet on Mark Zuckerberg wants to make this such a user-friendly platform that it crushes Twitter, because Twitter's on the downside, Threads is on the uptick. This is a nice little sweet spot to be in there before they totally do crush Twitter, take over, and then they start running ads and it's pay to play and other things like that. So I am doubling down, building my audience and getting my content flow going on Threads. Now, here's a comment I get a lot. What if Threads is just like Clubhouse? That people bring up Clubhouse a lot because I got really hot on Clubhouse a couple of years ago. And a lot of us were. And then it fizzled out. Here's the main difference. Clubhouse was not owned by Meta. Period. That is the main difference. Threads will be around. Threads will succeed. It is gaining hundreds of millions of followers. It is really picking up steam. It is well funded, well backed. It's it's a good platform. People are enjoying it. All right. And they enjoy being on there. Every time I preach to my clients in my online business academy, I'm like, get on Threads, get on Threads. They've had access to my new course for a couple of weeks now. And they're in there using the strategies and they're like, wow, I got a listener. I got a client. This is crazy. I've only been on this for 10 days. So Threads will not be like Clubhouse. You can quote me. All right. I don't think it's going to fade away. Clubhouse is still there. Shout out to Clubhouse, but it's not what it was like 2020, 2021. All right. So those are some reasons why I think you should consider dipping your toes in the water of Threads. Now, let's have another caveat. All right. I mentioned this briefly earlier, but this is important. You will not have success on Threads if you just take what you're already doing, all the things, like most of you are just doing all the things on social media, If you just add this on top, probably won't work. What I want you to do is take 2 or 3 of those platforms that you're getting crickets on and a whole lot of nothing. Just pause those for about 30 days and focus on Threads. Focus on some of the do's and don'ts that I'm about to unveil here in checklist fashion. Because if you try to do it all, if you're already doing it all and add more, you're just going to get a whole lot of the same. All right. So that's just kind of a caveat. My challenge to you, and what's the harm in just putting some on pause? So inside my online business academy for podcasters, I created a tool called the Less But Better filter, where when I get a client and we're doing, we're talking, I can tell they're overwhelmed from doing all the things on the edge of burnout. I go, fill out the filter. You're going to get rid of 2 to 3 things. We're going to add 1 thing in place of that. And that's what I want you to do here. Look at 2 to 3 things you can stop doing. Just push pause. You're not breaking up with them forever. You're not divorcing this social media platform. You're saying, hey, let's take a little pause, a little break. Twitter and maybe Instagram, maybe TikTok, maybe YouTube. I don't know. And let's invest that time and give Threads an honest chance. And I bet you'll be very happy that you did. Let's go into some do's and don'ts. First do. This is an entire list of do's. I've got 7 right here. First thing you want to do on Threads is optimize your bio. If you want to see an optimized bio, check out my bio. Just follow me on Threads at Podcasting Business School. The bio is important because, as on any social media platform, but you get a limited amount of characters and you want to really say who you are, who you help, establish some expert positioning, and leverage the link in your bio. Very important. Don't be like, hey, my name's Adam, here to chill, or something like that. That's not optimizing your bio. Next, we have to optimize keywords. Use keywords in your posts. When you are dropping post knowledge, think about keywords. All right, they've got a feature now where you can add a topic that helps too. I can put like podcasting tips or something like that. But if you're speaking to online business owners or small business owners or female business owners, use those words because that will help the algorithm put your content in front of the right people. So before you hit post, look for the keywords and ask yourself, can I put some more keywords in there? Very important. All right. Next, pay attention to your spacing. Don't put a big paragraph of text on there. 1 sentence, 1 line, space it, do the next sentence, next line, use some emojis. If you have like a checklist, use some emojis with some check marks on there. Posts need to be visually pleasing. You aren't posting images. You aren't posting video. Make sure it's not a big old blob of text. Some of you, I see you out there doing this. It's a big paragraph. And some of the giant influencers, they will do that and they can get away with it because they're giant influencers and they've got millions of people and it'll still work. But if you're starting from scratch or you got 14 people following you on Threads, trust me, make your posts visually attractive. And again, for all these do's and don'ts, just look at my account on Threads and you will see examples. Okay. So pay attention to the spacing. Sometimes if I have a really long sentence, I will even break it up into multiple lines. That's how important the visual appeal is. Stay away from big, blocky chunks of text. Space it out. Put some air in between those words, y'all. Use a few emojis and make it visually pleasing. This will go a long way. Next thing, add freaking value with each post. This is something that's interesting because there are a lot of the big time influencers that come over from Twitter, and I call them fortune cookie posts. It's all these big, I won't name names because I know some of you guys love these people and you'll love them till the day that you die. But there are some really big people that are like, it's just like a bunch of fluff. It's like one-liners like to be or not to be. That is your business question. It's just, I'm like, what did you even say? What was this? What's this even about? So make sure you're adding value. If you aren't a giant influencer, shout out to all the giant influencers listening to the show today. But if you're not one of those people, add actual value, like tips, strategies, value. It will really help your content. Don't just put up a post and be like, what's up, y'all? Who's having a good day? And don't be the like who's that? Like just don't put the fluff. Don't put the fortune cookie stuff up on there. Add actual value. You guys will know what I mean. Just follow a few giant influencers and you will see them with these one-liners that you're like, what does that even mean? All right. Don't be that person. Now, next thing, stay in your content lane with the type of content you are consuming and what you are posting about. Be careful. All right. Because the algorithm is really working for you, and don't send it off in the wrong direction. Example, one of my top performing posts, I didn't follow this rule. I was kind of experimenting around. I put up a post, most of my stuff's podcasting, online business, how to get clients, all this stuff, how to grow your show. And I put up a post going, is this the year that I finally upgrade from my iPhone 8? True story. I still have an iPhone 8 with a little button at the bottom. I just have a hard time giving it up. Creature of habit. And that was my top performing post for a long, long time. And I kept on getting like tech posts in my feed. Like the algorithm started to shift over into, oh, this guy's curious about iPhone and technology. And like it goes both ways. Like I don't want to stray from my content niche. And I don't think you should either. So I wouldn't post about your favorite TV show on there. I wouldn't post about all this different stuff, because that's going to confuse the algorithm. And this algorithm is really, really user friendly if you use it correctly. So I would not like go, hey, like some people try to generate a conversation, create engagement, but they're doing it on the wrong topic. They're like, what was your favorite TV show when you were 6 years old? Don't create that type of content. That is not going to leverage the algorithm. That will get engagement. You probably won't get any followers. And if you do, they're the wrong type of followers. All right. So stay in your content lane. If you want to create a conversation, look at what I do every single morning. In the course, I teach a strategy called the 6 a.m., 6 p.m. post strategy. I start a conversation every single morning. It'll be like, what's up, podcasters? Hopefully having a good, Tuesday or whatever. What microphone are you rocking right now? Or what platform do you use to edit your show? Share an episode of your favorite podcast episode or something like that. But it's on my content lane. I'm generating conversations. All right. Don't put up a post going, hey, what's everybody doing this weekend? Like that's not going to help you. All right. With the algorithm. So stay in your content lane. The next, do use good hooks. We have to have an interesting first line. All right. And this is the hardest part for me, because I just want to get right to the tip. I'm like, let's just deliver the value. Let's go. But we have to create that curiosity. We have to create intrigue, especially if you're doing super threads, where a super thread is a multi-post, like where I will have a topic, I'll have a hook, like, hey, I'm 44 years old. Here are 10 lessons that I've learned in my 10 years of podcasting. That's a hook. And then I reply to my own post 10 times with each of the 10 tips. That's called a super thread. So it's a multi-post thread. So I have to use a hook to get people interested. And that was really, really hard. I had to hire coaches and learn how to do this. And so that is really important. You have to create intrigue with good hooks, just like any social media platform. If you're on Instagram, same deal. All right. This next one is a big one. Big. I want you to spend at least 10 minutes a day engaging on other people's content. Even if your own posts suck, this strategy will get you followers. This strategy will get you clients. The strategy will get you podcast listeners. Set a timer. Legit, I do it every single day, at least 10 minutes for me. And I think one of my definitions of a social media platform that we're focusing on as podcasters would mean that we're engaging on that platform on other people's posts. I feel like you can be on a lot of podcast or on a lot of social media platforms. You can be on a lot of social media platforms, but you can only engage usually on one and show up. So for me, that's Threads. I set a timer, 10 minutes a day. I focus only on engaging on other people's content. So people, again, that are in my lane, I try to look for those influencers that are a little bit larger than me, or people that get a lot of engagement, or even just, it doesn't have to be a larger influencer or somebody that's big, fancy, and famous. But if I go in the search bar and search like podcasting questions or podcasting tips or online business or something like that, and I see, wow, that post has got a lot of traction, a lot of comments, I'm going to throw my hat in the ring. and I'm going to try to add value. I will legit like, okay, I need to type something up this isn't like, hey, good job. Like this, I gotta drop some knowledge, add to the conversation. Here's a little pro tip. Remember those fortune cookie posts I talked about with those big influencers? One of my favorite strategies is to follow those large influencers that deliver fluff advice. And when they post a fortune cookie post, that's like, okay, what exactly does that mean? I will comment with a meaningful tip. I try to figure out what the heck they're talking about. And I drop basically a meaningful tip within that content category. And I get a ton of followers. Last week, I replied on a post. I forget what it was about. But I just said, from a podcasting perspective, XYZ, here's what I do, here's what's worked, here's what hasn't worked. I got 30 new followers just within 24 hours of just commenting on this other person's post that kind of had a fluff post. All right. So this is powerful. You will get listeners, you will get clients, you will get followers if you spend 10 minutes a day adding value on other people's posts on Threads. And again, do this while you're waiting in line at the grocery, or while you're at the kids pickup line, or you're sitting in your kids practice or something like that. This is really easy to do. If you post once a day on Threads, I recommend a little bit more often than that, but if you post once a day on Threads and just drop some value and then spend 10 minutes a day commenting on other people's posts, you will see growth. Now, another pro tip: when I'm commenting on other people's posts, I look for potential podcast listeners first. So I will answer, let's say somebody's like, a lot of times people are like, I've released 50 episodes. The show isn't growing yet. What are you guys doing? I need some podcast growth strategies. And I will kind of look at their show name or something like that. And I'll usually drop some knowledge about my perfect podcast naming formula. Like, hey, you're not leveraging keywords. Here are the 3 steps of my perfect podcast naming formula. If you like this, definitely check out episode 560 of Podcasting Business School. I don't drop a link. I just recommend an episode. And then I will see so many people comment and heart. I'm like, I just got 20 listeners by commenting that tip and then just referencing an episode. Now, do not say episode 560 of my show, because they don't know what your show is. Mention your show name. So, if you want more, a deeper dive on this, if you want more of this type of content, episode number 560 of my show, Podcasting Business School, will be a great place to start. I hope that it helps. Boom. I drop tips like that all the time. I'm not dropping links on other people's posts. I don't do any links at all. You can, but I do not recommend it. So we'll get to that in a second. Last thing I want you to do: save your content. Organize it, save it, get a Google Doc, get an Evernote file, whatever you do to save things and organize your content. Save your content, because you will have some winners that really take off. And you'll have some, like, I had all these posts at the beginning where I was like, this is really good. Why did nobody respond to it? And then I learned how to write hooks, and I was like, it's good. It just needed a different hook. So you've got this big base of content. Now I've got this giant Google Doc that I pull from, and I can reuse it. Like my super threads, I've got probably close to 100 super threads that I've written over the last 6 months, and I save those and I repurpose them and I reuse them about every 8 weeks. I could probably get away with never writing another super thread ever again. I can just resend them, change the hook, slightly tweak it a little bit. But some of them, I've got one super thread about 10 tips that 10 things I've learned, 10 lessons learned since I started podcasting in 2015. And I've probably gotten close to 1,000 followers from that one post. All right. So I've used it over and over and over again, and it always works. It always works. And I don't change it because it always works. And I post it about every 8 weeks. So save your content and reuse it. That is another beautiful thing about the Threads platform, is that you can reuse and repurpose content, again, about every 8 to 12 weeks. Just post it up again. Let's go. Now, let's get into some don'ts, things I don't want you to do on Threads. I've mentioned pretty much all of these, but let's emphasize. All right, now we're going into the don't list. First thing, don't use links, especially on other people's posts. All right, like, do not do it. It will tank everything. I've noticed when I used to get real linky. I used to think it was okay to reply on somebody's post and go, hey, here's the direct link if you want to go check out the episode. And it seemed like I got in like algorithm jail. That's the only way I can explain it, because my views dropped on my own post. And I was like, oh, this is not good. Yeah, anytime I link, the views just plummet, like any social media platform. So if I need to kind of reference a link, I'm just like, hey, go hit the link in my bio. That'll take you to the right spot. So again, this is why your bio is really important. You want to make sure you get one link, so you got to use it well. So go hit that link in the bio. Boom. That'll be a good thing for you. So don't use links, especially in other people's posts. Now, every once in a while, I experiment. Like last week, I experimented on a post where I said, hey, if you want to get some advice, some free coaching from a podcaster with over 1 million downloads, drop your show link. I will provide some commentary and some free coaching. First come, first serve. Let's go. And in that post, everybody's dropping links. I am commenting back, and I was actually dropping a link at the end, like, hey, if you like this, you'll love my newsletter. Go get it. And that didn't seem to hurt. Maybe it did. It did good view wise. It did really good engagement wise. But it didn't seem to put me in algorithm jail, which I liked. So that's just me doing an experiment. Let me experiment with those things, and I will report back and let you know when it's okay to use links. But in general, we want to avoid using links. Next thing, I wouldn't recommend using images or video. If you search like, there's one hashtag on Threads, like podcaster threads. If you go on that, it's just all images. It's like, check out my latest episode, bro. Bang. Here's a big image. Here's a video clip. No comments, no views, no nothing. Just a big list of nothing. So don't do it. Waste of time. I'm telling you. Third, don't focus too much on promotional content. Don't just be like, here's the latest episode. Go check out this episode. If you're just telling people to go somewhere or do something all the time, and you're promoting something, definitely promote your episodes. Like, use this as part of your 72-hour promotion window. But I need like 80% of other things, of just value on other people's posts, value through your own posts that you're putting up. Very important. Okay. So those are my list of do's and don'ts. We're approaching the half an hour mark of yet another solo episode. I mentioned at the top, I created a course. All right. I created a simple course. My online business academy for podcasters already got this a couple of weeks ago. They've been diving in and enjoying it. The course is called Threads Strategies for Podcasters. I tried to make it as simple as possible with how to optimize this platform so that you can get new podcast listeners, get new clients, and grow on Threads while the growing is good and easy. All right, how to leverage this window that we're in on this platform. So topics that I cover in this one is how to optimize your bio and leverage your pinned post as a bio extension. And I leverage this, like my pinned post at the top of my bio. I get a lot of clients from that. So I give you a specific strategy on that. I've got a Google Doc workbook that I created that has my AM and PM post strategy, how to schedule posts within the app. I do not recommend using anything that schedules posts outside of the app. That doesn't work very well. I've got like hundreds of hooks that I figured out that work. Templates for super threads, for regular posts, hundreds. Then I've got a full breakdown training on how to do super thread posts to get new clients, to promote your podcast episodes. I've got a strategy that I teach about how to optimize your 10 minutes of engagement time with custom feeds. So to get the exact right people that you want to comment on and have that a curated feed on Threads, you can just scan through that, and it really optimizes your time with that 10 minutes of daily engagement. I've got specific strategies and templates for promoting your podcast and getting new listeners every single day, whether it's commenting on other people's posts or posting in your own feed within your 72-hour promotion window, like I always talk about. And then I kind of take all these tips and lessons and I organize them into a 10-day challenge with a very specific protocol for growth on the Threads platform and to help you get 1,000 new podcast listeners as soon as possible. All right. So that is what the course is all about. The cost normally, if you're listening to this in the future, it'll cost $297 or more. Maybe the price goes up. I hate really mention. I usually don't mention the price of things that I sell when I'm making like an awareness episode, but there you go. Starting price will be $297. But this week, I always do a deal on launch week. So this is launch week of the Threads Strategies for Podcasters course. If you use the code THREADS at checkout, the link, by the way, is in the show notes. Grab that link in the show notes. But if you use the code THREADS, THREADS, by this Friday, May 9th, you're going to save 50%. So you're going to cut $297 in half, whatever that is, $150. And I'm adding a bonus of you're going to get lifetime access to the Download Growth Club as a bonus included. All right. So Thread Strategy for Podcasters plus Download Growth Club lifetime membership access for about $150. Normally I charge $500 for the Download Growth Club. The normal price of Threads course is going to be $297. So about $800 in value there. Use that code by Friday. Do not email me on Saturday or Sunday going, oh, I didn't know this is a limited time thing. You just listen to me say it. Not a limited time thing with the deal. All right. Threads is the code. Do it. And I think you'll get good results. So do that 10-day challenge and use my protocol. And I guarantee you're going to really, really enjoy the platform first and foremost. But you're going to be getting followers. You're going to be getting podcast listeners, and you might even get some clients. So very excited about this new course. I think it's going to be a great resource. I spent a lot of time on the workbook and all the templates and everything. So I think it's going to guide you through it, and you'll get the best possible results on that Threads platform. And I think it's worth a try. Again, I would move something else off of your plate before you do this. Right? I know a lot of you are like, oh, I start courses and I don't finish them and things like that. I know that's a thing, but this is like a 17 video course. All right. Very short to the point. The workbook is excellent. It's very organized. If you spend one day this weekend hammering through this, next week you'll be up and running with the strategy. You start your 10-day challenge, and we're scooping up new podcast listeners. So that is all I got for you, Pod Pals. I appreciate you. I'm very excited about content we've got coming up. Got some great interviews in the pipeline. We got some more coaching episodes, obviously solo episodes. I appreciate your support. The show is going extremely well. And that is it for this week. So all of the Threads course information and the discount code, all that is in the show notes. Go get it. And I would love to see you inside that course. With that, I'm going to sign off wishing you health, happiness, and many downloads. We'll see you next time.